it's Bridget. So I had received some suggestions to do sort of like some back to school videos. I was excited to do it, but then I was like, well, I'm not going back to school, so I don't know like what people are buying or anything like that. So for those that don't know, I graduated college in 2012, so I've been out of school for a little bit, and I thought I would just share 10 things that I learned in school. And these are probably a little bit specific to college, but if you're younger, if you're going into high school or even middle school, I think there's a lot of things you can take away from this as you head back into school this year. So I made a list, let's just get started. Here are 10 things that I learned in school. The first is sit in the front. Now, if you struggle with being insecure, or if you get anxiety in class or something, it's almost, try to challenge yourself to sit in the front, because it's a lot harder to goof off, it's a lot harder to fall asleep if you're right in front of the professor or teacher. It just helps you, for me at least, it helped me to stay engaged and to soak in as much as possible. So if someone thinks you're a goody two-shoes for sitting in the front, who cares? Just sit in the front and learn all that you can. The second thing is, I have professors, but teachers, they aren't mind readers. So it's really easy to be like, well, so-and-so teacher doesn't understand me, or she's not, doesn't teach me well or something. Go tell them. The teachers, Bart wants to say, the teachers they can't help you if they don't know what you need help with, if that makes sense. So they're not mind readers, they want to help you, they're there to help you learn. So if you have a question or you're not getting something, take the time after class to go up and talk to them one-on-one. They'll be so excited to hear from you, and they're there to teach you. So just give them the information they need to be an effective teacher. I learned that it is really helpful to write in the margins. Now, this is only helpful if you own the book. If you're in high school and you're just like borrowing the book or something, probably don't do that. Or if you do, write it in pencil so that you can go back and erase it. But this was really good, especially like doing at-home reading. If there was something I didn't get or something I really wanted to emphasize, I would like write it in the margin of the book so that when I went back to study, I could see where there were things that I needed to study on or focus on, or little tidbits that I wanted to remember. It's a really good, useful study technique, just so you know what you need help soaking in, if that makes sense. So definitely write in the margins if you can. Turn big projects into a bunch of small tasks. So in college, I worked on a lot of group projects, and if you've worked on a group project, you probably know that it's a pain in the butt. It's hard to work with other people, especially if you're the type of person like myself that just wants to like do everything and make sure we get it done and all of that stuff. But I definitely learned that it's helpful to break up those big projects, or even if it's just a project for yourself, to break it up into a bunch of small tasks. So if you have to write, a 15-page research paper, that can sound huge and extremely daunting. But it's like that quote, it starts with a single step. So break it up into little pieces. So if you got 3 weeks to write it, maybe make yourself a task for that research paper each day. So maybe the first day, read 10 pages of a book you need for the research paper, or go online and find 3 sources, or just things like that. Specifically break those big, massive tasks into little, tiny things to do. It really helps conquer those big projects, whether you're working with a group or solo. Make lists. Like physically write out what you need to do. For me, this was huge, especially when it came to times like finals week or something like that. It can just seem so overwhelming and so daunting, like when you need to study and do all those things, and then also like do laundry and buy groceries. And when you have to do all of those things at once, it can seem super overwhelming. But if you just write out a list, sometimes, in your mind, it can seem like you have a zillion things to do, but when you actually write it out, you're like, wait, I only have like 5 things to do. That's manageable. So I definitely suggest physically writing out a list of the things that you need to get done. The next is kind of obvious, but it's definitely something I learned in college. Go to class. Like, it can seem easy to just stay home and to not go. It's a waste of time, or whatever the case may be. But seriously, go to class. You're paying, you or your parents or the government, somebody is paying a lot of money for you to be where you are. So take advantage of the situation. Go to class, talk to your professors, talk to your peers. School is for learning, so you can't really learn if you're just sitting at home not doing that. So I know it's hard, especially on like rainy, cold days when you just want to stay at home and get the notes from a friend or something, but going to class is huge, so go to class. So for those that don't know, I moved from Alabama, Decatur, Alabama to San Diego, California for school. So I was a long way from home, and especially in college, homesickness can definitely set in, especially I would say in your first semester. It's really hard because it's, for me at least, I didn't go to like boarding school or anything, so it was the first time that I was really, away from my family for an extended period of time, and homesickness is tough. And the thing that I learned is, there's 1,000,001 tips for getting over homesickness, but honestly, the biggest thing is just time. It just takes time, and this is a huge transition in your life, and it takes time to learn to live on your own and to start, making your own life separate from your family unit. So I would just say that homesickness takes time. Give yourself time to feel homesick and to be sad. It's okay. You're not the only person that's felt that way, or if you're feeling that way now, but just give yourself time, and I promise it will get better. College or school, it's what you make it. So this sort of goes along with going to class, but college can be a really awesome experience or a really terrible experience, but it's all about your attitude and what you decide to make of it. So, if you decide to stay at home and not go to class, but that's not really taking advantage of the situation. So college and school, it's totally what you put into it. So if you want to learn and if you want to get a good education and you put in the effort to do that, it will happen, and you'll make those connections and you'll make things happen for yourself so that you're ready to take on the world post-college. Okay, this might upset some people, but grades are just grades. And if you're going to college and you're not planning to do any sort of like graduate school or master's, they're just grades. And I know it can seem like the end of the world if you get a C or a D or an F or something, but guys, honestly, they're just grades, and college is what you make it. So if you got a C, but you learned more in that class than any other class, you've succeeded. And grades are just grades, and it can seem like everything is riding on this grade, or like your parents will be so upset, or all this stuff, which, they have to give you grades so they know, if you're like doing well and things like that. But just take advantage of every situation. Don't stress about grades. Everything's gonna be okay, I promise. Just learn as much as you can and don't worry about that grade on a report card. It's not the end of the world, I promise. And the last one, these aren't really in any particular order, I should probably say that, but the last one, find where you can study best. So I know people that need to be alone in a quiet space for like 4 hours. It's the only way they can study. Me, I like to be where there's a lot of stuff going on. I like music, like all that stuff. But find what works best for you. Or even find someone else that you sort of have similar study habits, so you sort of have a buddy system and can force each other to go study. But don't try to go study with friends who need to study at a coffee shop with loud noise, but you need to be really quiet. Do what works for you. That's how you're gonna learn, that's how you're gonna succeed. So find what works for you and just do it. Take advantage of the situation, really put in as much as you can to your education, because it really is what you make of it and your attitude. So that's all I have. I hope this video was helpful to some of you guys. If you have any other questions or concerns about school, I would love to help you out. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, ask me anything. I would love to impart even little nuggets of wisdom that I have from school. So I hope this is helpful. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Leave any requests for videos that you have down below. If you'd like me to do more back to school videos, let me know. I think that's it, guys. Stay bougie, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.